Hello and welcome to my easy to understand guide to Brown Skinned Girl by Beyoncé as a music video. This video is going to be particularly relevant for you if you are studying OCR GCSE Media Studies, as it appears as a set text on that specification from 2025 onwards. The music video opens with quite an urban setting with lots of autumn leaves, and you get this very high fashion outfit which seems completely out of keeping with the location and the setting. You get a woman and a young girl playing kind of patty cake in a very luxury setting, looking very, very stylish. So immediately we're seeing lots of images of luxury, high fashion, and that kind of sets the tone for the video. There's a graphic match or an action match as well to Beyoncé and her daughter doing the same thing on a kind of dock by the water in the outdoors. And that location is much more natural and wild and free, and perhaps presenting Beyoncé as being very natural. The camera style here is very handheld, it's quite shaky at times. It feels a little bit like home video, and that adds an element of realism to an audience. It makes it feel like what we're seeing is real and not kind of super studio filmed stylized shots. We see a variety of black girls clapping, smiling, very happy in this very lush garden. And that adds this kind of element of positivity and is immediately giving us this idea of diversity. Don't forget, black women in particular often underrepresented within the media, and so including a variety of black women in a music video helps to kind of add to that representation and make something feel very diverse and enriched in terms of race. A lot of the images here seem to not be related at all. It's kind of a weird montage. So now we go to images of a girl in an apartment block in slow motion. It seems quite sad, and we track in towards this baby. And then we go back to a garden with a stage in it and a girl stood in front, and then there's lots of dancing in ball gowns. So the images seem to be cut together in quite a kind of odd montage-like way. There's no kind of nice linear narrative through this video, and it means that the images being cut together in this kind of non-linear, seemingly unrelated montage encourages the audience to interpret them themselves and come up with their own meanings for them. The dancers in the ball gowns, again, connoting wealth, luxury, status. Some of them are frozen on this dance floor, and the lights go down and the tone changes. They're wearing gloves. It's very much this idea of femininity and status and class. But again, lots of enigma codes. Why are these girls frozen? What are they doing there? Why are they in ball gowns? What kind of party is this? And all these enigma codes, they're not really answered in this video. So again, encouraging audiences to interpret these things in the way that they want to. We get this kind of binary opposition contrast here with a much poorer looking girl walking through. Her dress is much more faded. It's far less luxurious than the others. And she kind of stares at these frozen people. It's very clear that she's not part of their world. So she's very much represented in opposition to them. So we're getting kind of class and status represented here. The luxurious and the wealthy versus the much poorer working class. We see a bird's eye view shot here, and the shadow looks like a clock. And at the same time, we're hearing the lyrics that say that work and time is a grind. And so I suppose this idea that working and having to go to a job every day and earn money is hard, and it takes up a huge amount of your time. And again, perhaps that's relating to class and the working class having to work very hard for their lives. We have another montage here of Beyoncé, very visual shots, family in a garden. So Beyoncé's in this kind of yellow dress. It's very African in style, and it kind of celebrating culture and heritage. And Beyoncé is kind of known for including some of this culture within her videos. So this will be familiar to a lot of her fans. We see a range of black people posed in a garden here wearing suits, again connoting status and power and wealth. And there's diversity of black people here. So for example, you've got people with much paler skin, much darker skin. You've got people wearing headscarves, people wearing braids, people wearing their hair completely natural. So again, that's quite inclusive. We often don't see a wide variety of people from black backgrounds represented in the media. Including these different representations of blackness makes the video feel quite inclusive. We have scenes here that appear to be kind of like a debutante ball. Lots of luxury, scenes of dancing. We've got pearls around people's necks as well, beautiful costumes. Debutante balls are a kind of cultural event which are often associated with upper white classes within America and other countries. And so having a debutante ball here using black actresses, black models, kind of is unconventional and challenges those ideas about debutantes.
However, black debutante balls have actually been quite a big thing ever since the sort of late 1800s. Obviously, there was a lot of segregation in society at the time, so there were segregated debutante balls. But unlike traditional kind of white debutante balls, black debutante balls focused not on the eligibility of women for marriage, but focused on celebrating their successes in things like the world of education and the world of work. So perhaps that's what Beyoncé is trying to do in this video by featuring a black debutante ball.
The girls are dressed in white, which, if you know anything about things like weddings, christenings, etc., often is associated as a sign of kind of purity and virginity. And the men are in suits, which connotes, again, quite traditional representations of men being quite powerful and having high status. So I suppose reasonably traditional gender representations here. Lots of artistic shots, very high fashion. It almost seems like kind of art photography here and fashion photography. And again, that appeals a lot to Beyonce's audience. They've come to know her for including these really exciting kind of costumes, hair and makeup within her videos. And it potentially targets a more female audience as well. And this is where there are several intertextual references to real celebrities that make cameo appearances within the video. So for example, in the lyrics, Beyoncé sings "When Naomi Walks In," and in walks Naomi Campbell, who is an incredibly famous supermodel, kind of started her career in the kind of 1990s and is still one of the most famous supermodels of all time. Another lyric says "Pretty like Lupita," and in walks Lupita Nyong'o, who's a famous black actress. She's won an Oscar, incredibly popular at the moment within the kind of media industries. So celebrating popular and successful black women. Another lyric says "When my Kellys roll in," and in comes Kelly Rowland, who is a singer and was certainly very famous in the 1990s, and she was part of Destiny's Child, which was a band that Beyoncé was in too. So clearly celebrating a range of famous and successful, powerful black women. The song lyrics do make reference to certain elements of race and racial experience and discrimination. So for example, one of the lyrics says, "Melanin too dark to throw her shade," perhaps reflects ideas of colorism, this idea that within the society, certain shades of dark skin have been more widely accepted than others. And if your skin is too dark, then there's often been more discrimination faced. And so kind of reflecting these ideas of racial discrimination and disparities within different racial groups. And again, there are several women introduced here who are models, Adut Akech and Owenade Chuol, who are fashion models who many audiences may be familiar with. The group shots here of the women with different hair again embraces the differences of black hairstyles. Again, you've got braids, natural hair, and there's lots of cultural references to African style in terms of things like jewellery, the different dresses going on. And the lyrics say there's complexities in complexion. So the whole video, the theme is clearly about trying to embrace black culture and different elements of black culture. We see a woman sat on a plastic covered sofa, which to me is a kind of reference to the past and also to kind of certain classes as well. In the past, it used to be quite popular to have plastic on your furniture to keep it nice. Because you couldn't afford to replace the furniture, so you'd have plastic on it if you were kind of more working class to keep your furniture looking nice for company that would come over.
Lots of shots of smiling faces and people celebrating together, hugging, etc. makes this feel like a really positive video, and it makes Beyoncé seem like she's super popular and that other people really respect her.
Beyoncé sings about the same skin tone taking over. This suggests perhaps themes of empowerment, Beyoncé celebrating the fact that black women now are able to take on positions of power and wealth and status and success within society. She sings "Remember What Mama Told You," and in this scene we see Beyoncé's real mum, which again is something familiar for a lot of audiences. It kind of acts like a kind of Easter egg almost for audiences who might recognise her, and suggests that her mum may have been very supportive of her growing up. It adds a sense of realism featuring her own family, whether it's her mum or her daughters within the video. It makes it seem very relatable, even though it's obviously very fashionable and stylised. It adds this element of familiarity to audiences and makes her seem like a real person. We see her daughter Blue Ivy singing, I suppose this is kind of becoming more common. She's taking part in more of Beyonce's videos and tours, and kind of reflects the growing trend for children of celebrities to be becoming famous themselves. But it also perhaps links into the themes within the video about children becoming important and people having to be aware of the impacts on children of things like discrimination. The creator of the music video is a lady called Jen Nakiru, and she sort of is quoted as saying that she really wanted the video to be about intimacy, sisterhood, and celebrations. Within the video, it is not just Black women that you are seeing. You've got a range of different people from different Black backgrounds. So for example, you've got Black African American, Black British, you've also got Sudanese, but you also have Brazilian, Southeast Asian women, Mexican Kenyan women, Sudanese Australian, and also albino Black as well. So a kind of big range of ethnic diversity. Although some people feel that it was too focused on Black communities and perhaps there should have been more kind of Asian or other mixed backgrounds involved. And overall within the video, you do have a big celebration of women. Obviously, it's hugely female centric. You've got female models, actresses, you've got award winners, pioneering Black women who have done things that perhaps previous generations of women haven't been able to. And so it is a very big celebration of gender. So that was my easy to understand guide to the Beyoncé video. If you want to check out my channel, there are lots of other videos that are going to be relevant for you. And if you have any questions or would like a video that I don't already have, leave a little comment below and I'll see what I can do.